My mom asked me to watch my siblings for a week. It's been 9 weeks. The author of the post is listed in the description. My mom went out 2 days before Christmas and then texted me 12 hours later saying she would be gone for a week and for me to have the kids. She hasn't come back since. So almost 9 weeks. I have heard from her 3 times total and she is saying she isn't coming back anytime soon. She just keeps sending money. My siblings are 16, 13, 12, 9, and 7. I'm 19. I'm surviving looking after the kids by myself, and TBH, not much has changed because I did most of it when my mom was here anyway. We live with our nan, but she doesn't help with them really either. And my older siblings are long moved out. I guess my question is my mom being gone a serious issue legally and with social services? I don't want to risk the kids going into care. Been there, done that when I was younger, so I haven't told anyone that she's gone. I'm scared of what will happen if people find out, so I don't want to even ask the question IRL. Relevant comments. Commenter asks if UUP's Nan can provide assistance on getting guardianship on the younger siblings to be in a stable position so no one doesn't have to be in foster care or split up. OOP. Thanks. IDK, I guess all I know is I really don't want them going into care. The system where we live is shit, and I just don't want them to go through that. I don't feel like my life prospects are great anyway, and I don't want to send them into care so I can maybe have a bit better life. BC, I doubt I would anyway, and I think the guilt would torture me more than just sticking it out with them. Maybe if I didn't already do everything for them before my mom left, then this would feel worse, but I have taken care of them for years already, and I don't think I can abandon them. My nan might agree to that. For now, she just says my mom will be back soon. She refuses to help with the kids, generally BC, she's been there, done that, or whatever, and says she's too old. Commenter, you need to report your mother for abandoning her kids, but at the same time, tell them you will look after them. Your mom need to learn she can't do this to her kids and needs to be brought up on child abandonment charges. Oop. I would do that if it was guaranteed I could keep them, but I don't know if that's even possible or at all likely with so many of them and we aren't rich. Maybe 1 or 2 kids they would say okay, but 5 just seems unlikely they would let me keep them. Commenter, is there any other trusted adult in your family? Aunt, uncle, cousin, something? Maybe they could come help you keep your family together. Oop. We have some aunts and uncles, but none we are close to or who seem like they care. I could try that route, I guess. My older siblings are most likely to give a shit, and even they aren't being very helpful. Commenter, why do you think your life prospects aren't good? You're 19, you have your whole life ahead of you. This is really unfair of your mom to put on you. I totally get not wanting your siblings to go into the system, but you need to think about setting yourself up to be in a position where you could take care of them if that's your goal. The youngest is 7. You're looking a long road of caregiving if you go this route, and you need to be able to support yourself and them if that's your goal. Oop. I didn't do great in school. We don't have much money, live in a shitty area. I can tick most of the boxes for things that set you back in life. I work now and make a decent wage, but I just can't imagine being able to enjoy that if I abandoned my family. I have thought about it a lot, and I used to wish I could just go and live my own life, but reality is I would have no one and nothing to live for. Commenter, where TF did she go? Is she in trouble? On drugs? Even if she comes back, this sounds super shady, and maybe she shouldn't be caring for them. You need to call someone. Oop. She's done it before. Usually she goes to the same city, but I have no idea what she does when she's there. She tells everyone she's looking for our dad, but that's bullshit. Far as I know, she doesn't do drugs, but she has had issues with alcohol. She's shit in the mum department, but she doesn't care for them even when she is here, I do. Commenter, file emergency guardianship. You're an adult, so I don't see the law removing them if under your legal care. Not sure. Where are your older siblings? Do they know what's going on? OAP. They moved out at 18 and we very rarely see them. I have told them she's gone, but they don't think it's a big deal as she has done it before. Commentor asks OOP if her mother has some types of benefits that might be helpful for the children, and if their father is in the picture or not, and if OOP knows what liabilities she has with her siblings. OOP. I don't have POA or know how I can even get that. I assume it would come with legal guardianship. I think she does, but I don't really know the details or how much. She goes through phases of talking about that stuff, but she also lies a lot. She claimed she gets nothing from the government. But she also claimed she got thousands from our dad, which is impossible. BC, he is the definition of a train wreck. And I don't know when he has even had a job. As in, if they got hurt in my care? We don't have access to that kind of thing, as far as I know. We live in a small rural town with minimal access to a lot of services like that. I'm trying to find out, but not having much luck. I can make $1 4K, 5K a month, depending on what shifts I'm able to do. Lately, I can only work 30 HRS a week when the kids are in school, so can't earn as much, but my mom has sent money and my nan covers most bills, so I don't have a huge amount of expenses. Food for 5 kids is a lot, but I'm doing okay so far and can save a small amount. Food, clothes should be fine. I mainly worry about birthdays and other big expenses like that, but that's why I'm trying to save as much as possible for those times. No idea where my dad is. We haven't seen or heard from him for around 5 years. There were some serious abuse allegations from my older siblings, and he hasn't been seen since. Before that, he would come and go. The age gaps between the siblings are the times he disappeared. He would vanish for sometimes years, then reappear, and they'd have a couple more kids. I want to keep them here with us, so really just need advice on how to go about that. Letting them go into care would kill me, so it's not really the advice I'm looking for, but I do understand why everyone is saying that. Update 1. I spoke to my mom on the phone and told her I want her to give me custody of the kids since she is refusing to come back or say when she will be back, and I'm done with her bullshit. We argued for like an hour, but in the end she said she would do it after I told her I was going to call the police on her. Before speaking to her, I spoke to a lawyer, and I should be able to get legal guardianship through a parenting order, which will go through court. My 22-year-old brother said he will move home and help me under the condition that my mom doesn't move back, as he refuses to be around her. His income and input will help a lot, and he seems serious about wanting to be involved with parenting and taking care of the kids, especially our little brother, as he needs a male role model badly. If we can't get custody, then my nan should be able to. Either way, my mom is very unlikely to keep custody unless she suddenly decides she gives a shit. I would bet my life she will never give a flying fuck. Getting legal custody is the outcome I want, so I'm relieved it seems like a real possibility. Now I'm just doing a total overhaul of everything with the kids because I think they need a lot more structure, discipline, rules, routine than they have had until now. I have realized I don't really know anything about good parenting, so I have a lot to learn. Maybe I will get some books. Until now, our house has been more like a house share with everyone doing what they want and running around feral rather than anyone really guiding the kids. I grew up even more feral, and I don't think it's a good way to be raised. So I'm starting a bath and bedtime routine for the youngest 2 and a curfew for the teenagers, because RN, the 12-year-old, goes off on his skateboard and will just show up again at like 10 p.m. on a school night. I've also been giving them much better food than they usually have, and it's been rough to get them to eat healthy, but we have made so much progress already. Any advice on instilling rules would be welcome, as I don't think it will be easy, and I have never had any kind of actual parent role model in my life. Relevant comments. Commenter. In another post, you mention your dad. Where is he? He should step up. Oop. He disappeared 5 years ago after my older siblings started talking openly about how he abused them. We haven't seen or heard from him since. He used to vanish for years at a time and come back when he was bored or whatever, and my mom would try to keep him around with new babies. But I don't think he will be back again. Commenter asked if it was possible for OOP and her nan to get her siblings in therapy. OOP. Thank you, SM. We can't afford therapy and don't have any access to it where we live. Even if we had the money, I'm pretty sure it would be a 3 HR round trip to the nearest one. X5 would be impossible. I will Defoe try to make sure to give them choices and listen to them as much as possible. I already approach things differently with them, as their personalities are so different. Some need me to be a lot more authoritative to even have a chance of them taking me serious. One cries if she even suspects I'm mad at her. It's a lot to learn, but I'm willing to give it everything I've got, and hope that will be enough. Oop. Thank you, SM, for all the helpful comments here and messages offering help, advice. I will reply to them all when I can. RN. I'm putting all my energy into the new routine and trying to sort out legal guardianship so we can get money for the kids, etc. Everything else is a problem for later on when we are more settled. My older brother came up last weekend, and TBH, it was nice, but weird, BC. The younger kids don't even remember him, and they pretty much clung to me for the entire time. BC having a man in the house is strange for them. But after he left, they said they miss him and liked having him here. He's been sorting his shit out this week and is coming back tomorrow with all his stuff, and we'll be working remote from our house. Me and him have spoken a lot, and I think we will be able to get on the same page with the kids and make it work. I'm worried about some things with parenting differences, but we will figure it out. I'm trying not to seem controlling, but it's hard to adjust to someone else being very involved when I have been looking after them by myself. I know I need him, though. My nan was actively trying to undermine me, and we had an argument. Then my brother got here, and he had an argument with her in the first half hour. So she has gone to my aunt's for a while. She is still paying the bills here, but if she stops, we will be okay with my brother's money and mine. My brother wants to take the kids and move house, but I am not even thinking about that until everything else is sorted out. Now that things are actually changing, our older sisters are more interested and have been messaging me, so they might help as well. The kids are not taking the new routine too well, but we are making progress, so I'm trying to stick with it. I made a meal plan and have stuck to that all week. My 9-year-old sister told me she likes rules, which makes it feel worth it. The teenagers are kind of a nightmare, but I'm trying to persevere with them. 13-year-old was being horrific and I lost my shit, which made her have an emotional breakdown, and now she's been a lot better. 12-year-old has taken it okay-ish. He just tells me I'm a loser all the time and asks for his skateboard back 1,000,000 times a day, but I know he knows where it is, so he is being pretty good considering he could just take it back if he really wanted. 16-year-old is hell. 7-year-old has like 3 tantrums a day and won't eat or sleep, so she stresses me out probably the most. My mom hasn't called anymore, but is complying with giving us custody and told her friend it's the best thing that's ever happened to her. I CBA with her, and if she tries to come back, I will do everything I can to keep her away from the kids. Update 2. Hi. Not sure if doing multiple updates is okay, but I have had a lot of messages since the Baru post and think it will be easier to update people who are interested like this, as replying to all is hard. Thanks to advice here, we have realized that getting kinship is a better choice for us financially than getting legal guardianship. This wasn't mentioned to us by the lawyer or social services, so I'm so grateful for everyone here, as we will have so much less financial stress on kinship, and we will get access to a lot more services for the kids. Things are already seeming so much less scary. My brother has come home to help me and is working remotely for his same job, which is ideal. He has been amazing at making it all happen so fast and packing up his life to move back. He is still back and forth at the moment, but should be here full-time besides a few days a month where he has to be there in person. Our oldest sister has said she will send some money every month to help us, but doesn't want to be involved other than that. I understand why and am very grateful she is helping. Honestly, it hurts a bit that she refuses to talk about the kids or anything, but she is doing what she can handle, RN, I guess. Our other sister is working FIFO right now and has suggested coming back on her weeks off to help out, but I'm not sure if that will actually happen or work well in reality. My brother doesn't get along with her very well and says he doesn't think living with her again will work. The kids are still struggling with the new rules, and we have had some issues. 16-year-old hates me, so my brother is trying to take over with her. BC, I am bored of fighting with her. The others are doing better, but still so difficult. 7-year-old won't sleep, which is the hardest thing right now. BC, then I can't sleep and I'm tired AF. She has meltdowns when she's tired, and she's always tired now, so she's always having meltdowns. IDK, what to do with her? Everything I try to make her sleep doesn't work that well. She says she doesn't know why she won't sleep, so IDK, where to even start? My brother tried to get her to bed, and she just cried and screamed for me. 12-year-old is listening to our brother, which is the best thing to ever happen because I was really worried about handling him since he listens to me never. 13 and 9-year-old are easier and not stressing me out too much. So we are kind of divide and conquer now. My brother handles 2, and I handle the other 3. I found out I'm very protective of the younger ones and find it very difficult to let my brother discipline them, so it causes less problems between us if I deal with them. Still early days, and hoping consistency will fix a lot of the smaller issues. Long term, we want to rent somewhere bigger, as our nan's house is very cramped and making things harder. This is long and messy, sorry. Just wanted to update everyone who has asked and thank everyone again for the advice. Relevant comments. Commenter, glad to hear your brother is helping out. Especially with the teenage siblings, it's hard for them to see you as an authority figure, unfortunately, as you're not that much older, and it shouldn't be on you to deal with this. Having 2 people be a united front for them will be hugely helpful in establishing boundaries. Sounds like the 7-year-old might be dealing with anxiety. Kids are not great at identifying their own emotions. She's running from sleep because she doesn't feel safe to lie down and drop her guard. Strongly recommend getting them checked out by the GP if you can. Mention the trauma background. I know it's hard to find bulk billing GPs at the moment, though. Divide and conquer is the right strategy, as is consistency, as you mentioned. I would strongly recommend communicating the current home situation to the kids' schools. They may be able to hook you guys up with more social services, and if nothing else, it will be helpful for teachers to be aware of the situation in dealing with behavioral issues. But I am a teacher, so that's my bias, LOL. P, yeah, I think him being that bit older and the fact they haven't seen him for years has made him automatically more of an authority figure to the teenagers. The younger ones are a bit unsure of him still, and I think they will adjust to him better if he isn't being the strict one straight off. It's hard to find the balance with the different approaches for each kid. But 16-year-old went to a party last night and was texting me arguing about the preset pickup time we gave her, so my brother went to get her and she actually got in the car. If I had gone, she would have 100% told me to fuck off. Yeah, she refuses to lay down and just hates her bed. Only way I can get her to sleep is by laying in her bed with her until I'm sure she's in a deep sleep. And that's after hours of her physically fighting me, crying, etc. Trying to get them to the GP is a huge struggle, time-wise and money-wise. We'll get them in ASAP, but probably won't be that soon. Also don't have a car big enough for everyone, so would have to go in separate trips as well. The teachers are aware of the situation. They know my mom is a POS, and I have been doing parents' night, etc. for the kids for literal years. I told them she is away, and I am going for custody. Commenter. 7 might be having bad dreams, or maybe she feels being awake is the only time she has any control over her life. Did your egg donor leave during the night, maybe? Either way, insomnia is a bitch, and I sympathize with you both. Will she quietly draw or watch videos during the night while you sleep? Does she have a nightlife and white noise? Oop. Yeah, 7-year-old woke up on Christmas Eve to our mom being gone. TBH, she seemed kind of unfazed about it, BC. She's not even remotely close to my mom. She slept in my room from like 4 months old. But it obviously has affected her. I think she's probably worried I will leave, so she's trying to stay awake to make sure I'm still there. I tell her all the time I'm not going anywhere, etc., but she just freaks out about bedtime every single evening. Even if I keep her in the living room with me and hope she will fall asleep without any pressure, she stays awake way too late, considering she has school in the morning, and she still cries and says she just wants it to be morning already. The 4 kids are all in the same room and there is a nightlight in there, but 13-year-old turns it off because she says she can't sleep with any light. 7-year-old has never said she needs a light TBF. She slept fine in the dark before all this. Update 3. Back with another update for those who asked. Can't believe it's been over 3 months now. We applied for kinship and have had the provisional approval and the home inspection and some interviews. We've got a couple more things to do, still ongoing, and then we should be good. We got our first payment, which has been so good and really made me feel much more optimistic about everything BC. We will be able to actually do something other than just survive. The caseworker pretty much told me they don't want to have to find placements for this many kids, so us keeping them is their much preferred option, which is reassuring. My mom hasn't contacted me for a while. We thought she might show up on Easter. BC holidays are usually her time to cry about how much she misses our dad, and she usually prefers to ruin everyone's day with that. But she didn't come, thank God. Our Nan is still at our auntie's. BC. She can't stand to be around us, apparently. BC me trying to feed them good food and not let a 7-year-old disappear for hours on bicycles with kids 3+ years old than her is just me thinking him better than my Nan. A lot of people said to try and co-sleep with 7-year-olds, so I have started doing that. It's helping a bit, and she actually will lay down, so that's a win, but she still cries a lot and tries to get up. She also does a death grip on me, so I have kind of accepted that I have to go to bed when she does. It's not the worst thing ever. BC. I have been looking things up and reading online whilst I lay with her when she eventually calms down. I've ordered melatonin to try. I share a room with 16-year-old, and she doesn't want 7-year-old in there, but it's kind of tough. I can't do anything about it until we can move house, which isn't going to be soon. It's not the most peaceful night with her in there. BC. She kicks me and wakes up at random times trying to chat or crying, but we are getting some sleep. She slept in my single bed with me from 4 months old until she was like 2. I clearly knew nothing about safe sleep, but my mom had sold the crib to try to annoy my dad, so she actually had nowhere else to sleep. And I haven't told her that BC. I don't want to tell her her mom didn't care that she didn't have a bed, but she seems to remember BC. She said, "We used to have sleepovers in your bed a lot, didn't we?" Also, I got 16-year-old earplugs and told her she can sleep in 7-year-old's bed in the other room if she prefers. I do my best to try to soothe 7-year-old in general. She had one of her crying breakdowns last week and said she didn't feel safe or happy. Then she said she wishes I was her real mummy. I told her I am her real mummy, BC. I've looked after her her whole life and I won't ever leave her. She seems a bit happier since then. I'm going to get a photo of us for her to have in her little purse she carries everywhere. She's pretty sentimental, so she will like that. Yesterday, she asked me if me and our brother are married, LOL. Obviously, I said no, and she said, "I just feel like you are my mom and dad." I hope that's a good thing, even if it is a little weird. She is definitely bonding with him, too. She always wants me to carry her around, and when I say no, BC, I'm busy, he offers to do it, and she lets him now. She used to ignore him. Seeing her snuggle into his neck and actually relax is the cutest thing. Makes my heart happy, BC. I remember wishing I had a dad who would hold me, and I'm so glad she is getting all the love. Me and my brother have had a few disagreements over discipline. He is pretty strict, and usually that's a good thing, BC. They need it, TBH. But sometimes I find it a bit much. Biggest disagreement was when he smacked 9-year-old and I lost my shit. We grew up with a lot worse, and Angel, I have smacked them before, but I don't want to be doing that anymore. Bro thinks there's nothing wrong with one smack on the bum. I would just rather we don't go there. He said he won't do it again, and I don't think he will. He wasn't angry when he did it, so I'm not really concerned about it, and he apologized to 9-year-old. We're just still trying to figure out discipline. Our dad used an electric cord as a whip, so one smack on the bum is practically gentle parenting to us. I have read enough to know we don't want to be doing any physical disciplining, though. Worst thing I've had to do is give the youngest 2 suppositories. My sister gave me money to take them to the GPBC. I was worried about them and couldn't find any for free and didn't want to wait for kinship. Turns out they are both malnourished, underweight, and constipated AF. And they've missed some vaccines. For the constipation, we tried medicine and more fiber and more water, but no bueno, so it had to be the suppositories, BC. The doctor said it was verging on severe. I tried to explain it to them and make the whole thing easy, but it turned into quite the drama. 9-year-old was easier, but still took me a while. 7-year-old was impossible, and everyone got too stressed on day 1, so we left it. And she was still not complying on day 2. So my brother had to get involved and pretty much had to hold her down. BC, I called the doctor and she said either we do it or I take her in and they do it. So we had no choice, really, and I still feel horrible about it. I'm obsessed with what they're eating now. BC, I do not want anyone going through that again. But I will say they are a lot better since. They aren't getting tummy aches and they aren't so grouchy. And it has helped 7-year-old with her sleep for sure. We are getting the other 3 to the doctor next week. We will do telehealth after, but I want them to see someone in person for the first appointment. After that, the next thing on the list is dentist. We have looked at therapy and should be getting telehealth sessions soon. So far, all 3 teenagers have said they aren't doing therapy, but I will try to make them at least try it. 16-year-old is still difficult. She took my ID and she was going out whenever she liked. But my brother grounded her, and she has actually listened and not tried to sneak out. The other 3 are doing okay. No big issues with them, TBH. They are adapting pretty well, I think. I try to talk to them all about everything when I can, and they all seem to understand what's going on and trust that we won't be going anywhere, and we just need them to cooperate with us so we can get through. My little brother Jay, 12, is obsessed with older bro. I used to have an issue with Jay going out every evening for hours, and was so stressed about trying to keep him home and safe, but Matt being here has basically eliminated the issue. Jay just wants to be around him all the time, and Matt has somehow got this kid thinking doing homework with him is the best thing ever. So after a while, I just stopped imitating. This continued for years, and I had just grown used to it. I still loved him. I had no desire to cheat or divorce. I just figured this is what happens after kids, and I'll just deal with it. Then, about a year ago, he got a babysitter and asked me if I wanted to go away for the weekend, just the 2 of us. I was shocked, but agreed. And the entire weekend he was affectionate and flirty and just fun. He hadn't acted this way in years. He was a completely different guy, and that included in the bedroom, too. This may be TMI, but my husband hadn't performed oral sex on me in 10 years, and every time he had before, he was kind of terrible at it. But while we were away, he just did it without asking, and he was amazing at it. This new attitude continued when we got home, and a few months after that, I started to notice that he had lost weight. Shortly after that, he started to look more toned as well. He had gotten a dad bod, but now he looked better than when we got married. I won't lie, I had difficulty keeping my hands off him. He's basically become the perfect husband overnight. I don't know what happened. He says he just wanted to be a better husband, but there was no event that triggered it outside of turning 40. Could that be it? I've read that middle-aged men sometimes get in shape because they are looking to cheat. But that's not the case. He's never cheated or had any desire to. We have lifestyle 360 for the kids, and I see where he is. It's work and home. I also see all his texts since we share an iPad, so I'm kind of stumped. Edit. Thank you all for the comments. I will answer a few common questions. 1. I see no testosterone in the house. Unless he's taking it at work and not telling me, then I don't think that's what it is. 2. How did he become so good at oral? He did tell me that before he didn't like it, but now he does. I could tell before he was grossed out by it, and that affected how I felt about it. So right there was a change. But that doesn't explain how the man has become downright intuitive with oral and sex in generally. He has a sense of when to speed up, when to stay consistent, when I'm close, and how to get me there. I just don't know how that happened. That part didn't happen right away, but it didn't take long. 3. Like I said above, cheating really isn't possible. I always know where he is and have for years. I can track him, and so can the kids. He goes to work and comes home, and when he leaves the house, it is to the store or his parents, and I can see that too. Also, wouldn't you get in shape before the affair, not after it was over? Because I have been hyper-vigilant and there's nothing. Update. I talked to my husband and asked him if he was taking testosterone, as many of the commenters thought he was. He said no and was curious why I asked. So we talked a bit, and I really pressed him hard on what was going through his mind a year ago to make him change so much, and I was able to tease 2 things out of him. The first was an incident at work. It happened about 6 months before he made his transformation, and I knew about it at the time because he told me. He didn't make a really big deal about it and barely mentioned it after telling me, so I just forgot it even happened until he mentioned it. My husband is a VP of finance at a rather large private company, and 2 members of his staff were engaging in an affair. The woman involved in the affair was married and about my age, and her husband had started to call the office, so it became a thing he had to deal with since he was their boss. He told me at the time, but I guess this saga dragged on for some months. And when the woman in question began to open up to others in the office regarding the reasons she had the affair, some of those reasons hit home for my husband. Her husband was behaving much like he was. So he said that isn't going to be me and set out to fix it. The second thing I teased out of him is that he quit watching porn. Now, I do want to say that I don't care that he watched porn. I do myself on occasion. But when he watched it and obviously finished himself afterward, it drained any desire he had for me. I guess he started when the kids were really young and I was just exhausted all the time, and he just kept it up because it was easy. He quit because to fix our marriage he had to get that desire back for me. So he did it. So after this conversation, a lot of things make sense. I also understand why he didn't want to tell me. He didn't want me to think that the possibility that I could cheat had entered his mind, and the porn is sort of self-explanatory. How do you like these stories? Write your opinion in the comments. Let's get 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Love you.